Very good display against Hasanboy Dusmatov to go through by unanimous decision there. Dusmatov, Rio Olympic gold medalist, winner of the Val Barker Trophy, on that occasion returning to AIBA Elite International competition for the first time since then. No seeding in this year's competition, so those two meeting in the first round was sensational, really. This is DEEPAK of India, beat Azat Usanaliev of Kyrgyzstan by unanimous decision. Indian champion. Picked up a silver at the Asian Championships in 2019. So that's BIBOSSINOV of Kazakhstan in the red. DEEPAK, India in the blue. Stephen Masiyambumbi of Zimbabwe. So here we go. There's the opening bout. BIBOSSINOV Kazakhstan in the red there. DEEPAK of India in the blue. BIBOSSINOV just boxing out of that southpaw stance, looking to try and crack off that 1-2 early on. Towards the end of the session this afternoon, we saw some great displays of jabbing from fighters, demonstrations of how you win a fight, leading off with the jab, working off the jab, and it was just a reminder that that really is the most fundamental punch in boxing, even still. BIBOSSINOV looking to throw that lead hand, flicking it up from low, as all those fighters we saw this afternoon did pretty much. DEEPAK just lands a right to the body there. First minute down. It's BIBOSSINOV who's taking the centre of the ring for the most part here, and the Indian fighter is kind of working around it. BIBOSSINOV with that widest stance gives him a good base to punch off. DEEPAK just feinting with the front foot. The jab there gets through from BIBOSSINOV. Then just comes a little bit square as he came forward. Weight came forward a touch there too, and the right hand of DEEPAK caught him. Nice one too there from BIBOSSINOV. He can keep this on the outside if he can just get his distance right. Left to the body there from the Kazakh. Just short with his right hand there, DEEPAK. When he commits and really comes forward as well, that right foot, that back foot tends to come round a bit. Deserts that side-on position and ends up standing a bit square. Took his feet in better that time. The right hand landed, turned southpaw briefly, then and chucked a left hand straight up the middle straight away into the final minute of round one. And this has been pretty even. I'd say BIBOSSINOV has had the better of it, probably. There's a nice 1-2, and that's why, really, because he's managed to snap the odd one of them through. There you go, that right hand there from DEEPAK, slightly short. And he just comes over the top of that front foot a bit. 1-2 into the chest there from BIBOSSINOV, right at the end of the round. Good first round. I'd go red corner with that one. I think it was pretty, I'd say that was pretty clear. Maybe a slight nick on the inside of the eyebrow there. And just clamping down on that a little bit. So 4 out of the 5 judges go the way of the red corner of the Kazakh. Our judge from Guatemala favoured the Indian fighter. That's a well-delivered left hand. That's what I mean about the right hand. That was a kind of a right hand lead, so that actually wasn't a great example of what I was talking about, but even so, the same thing still happens. That right foot comes round, the feet don't quite cross, but he ends up standing square, and someone like BIBOSSINOV will be able to make you pay for that. There's a lot of Vaseline along that eyebrow. I wonder if the referee is going to get a bit of that wiped off. No, he thinks that's okay. So into the second round, DEEPAK in the blue, boxing for India. BIBOSSINOV, Kazakhstan in the red. Again, there goes the jab. Rarely throws more than a three-punch combination, BIBOSSINOV. For him, that's jab, backhand, right to the body. Quite typical for the Kazakh fighters there. Generally looking for those kind of raiding missions. They've got good feet, always take their feet with them. That kind of widest stance that he's got there, BIBOSSINOV, that's quite typical too. Get into range, quick hands. Jab, backhand, go to the body, and then pull those feet back out. BIBOSSINOV just keeping DEEPAK occupied at the start of round two, not really giving the Indian much of a chance to get his punches off. Left hand on the inside there from BIBOSSINOV as DEEPAK did manage to make the first move that time. Nice jab there from the Indian fighter, but answered back by BIBOSSINOV, who looks nice and sharp. He's not necessarily that tall for a flyweight, but he's got a long reach, he's got long arms on him. There's that 1-2. Heading towards the closing stages of round two. He's just giving himself a bit of room there, BIBOSSINOV, for that reason exactly. So he's got enough space to try and work that 1-2. When you look at it, it's easy to think, or it would be easy to think that DEEPAK's backing him up, but he's not really, because BIBOSSINOV's happy enough to give that ground. He's happy enough for DEEPAK to come onto him. The Indian fighter is just prodding forward with that front foot. But the fighter in red is fine with it. Tied to that round, I thought, but still a red corner round for me, anyway. Little nick underneath the right eye. So split scores, 3 judges going for BIBOSSINOV there, 2 going for DEEPAK, and that means that going into the final round, we've got 3 scores of 19-19 and 2 scores of 20 points to 18 in favour of BIBOSSINOV, because it was 4-1 in the first round, and the 2 judges who gave it to DEEPAK in the second round were different to the one who went his way in the first round. So that's crucial, because it means that he's still very much in with a chance here. He's got to win this final round. He's got to win it on all of those drawn cards. If you've been with us during the course of the last 8 or 9 days, you'll have heard me say this loads of times, because we've had quite a lot of fights that have had that exact formula going into the final round. So he's got to win this final round, DEEPAK, with those 3 judges. Turn all of those drawn cards into wins for him, and he goes through. BIBOSSINOV still with a bit of work to do here. bit of body work, just pivoted around that front foot, completely changed the angle, and banged in a couple to the body. DEEPAK just hurrying up those feet. Referee having a word about punching around the back of the head. Just gets caught square on the ropes there, really, for the first time almost, BIBOSSINOV. And DEEPAK just set his feet and looked to try and let his hands go. Just dips to his left there, the Indian fighter, looking to try and throw the right, but got caught by a nice one too as he opened out, then a right-hand lead, and he just offers up that head, BIBOSSINOV, just leans in with it, makes you feel like he's in range. But as I've said about plenty of fighters throughout the week, the weight actually is evenly distributed between those feet. He just hinges at the waist, leans in with the head, and he can pull it back whenever he needs to. So midway through the round, it's the third and final round. Looking for the jab there, then just short with the 1-2, and DEEPAK immediately looked to try and come back with the right hand and didn't quite land it himself either. Good left hand down the middle there from BIBOSSINOV. And a nice quick combination there too, a left to the body into the final minute. And another left to the body and another one, and he's finding the gaps here. Maybe feels that he just took his foot off the pedal slightly in the second round. Jab from the fighter in red, who's upped it. He's upped it a gear in the last 30-40 seconds. Two from BIBOSSINOV. Well, there goes the bell at the end, and the Kazakh has done enough there. I think he needed to take one of those three drawn cards to make sure of going through. 20 points to 18 up on 2 cards. Those other 3 were drawn, so he needed 1. DEEPAK, we're looking at there, he needed all 3. I don't think he will have done enough. We'll find out though. Just waiting for the introductions in ring A to be completed, so these two have a few more seconds yet. So BIBOSSINOV gets it by unanimous decision, made absolutely sure by taking that final round, 10 points to 9 on all 5 of those cards. So after beating Hasanboy Dusmatov, he makes sure that he doesn't waste what was a massive win. Gets it against DEEPAK and heads through to the quarterfinals. I'd have given him all 3 rounds there, but the second one was definitely the closest. 2 of the judges going the other way in round number 2, and that just meant that going into that 3rd round that DEEPAK was still in it because he had 3 level cards. Difficult to win from that position, but we've seen it happen throughout the course of the last few days.